Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the new African Black Panther Party, NAB-PP North. All power to the people.
Classroom to give somebody some higher experience in that one. You know what I'm saying? Without restrictions, because like I said, we all about selfless acts of love. We're not trying to disrupt none, we're just trying to create something. So we can get that. And just what we don't know, let us know. You feel me? Like, if it's a slumlord that's trying to get a contract, I know you might have to fuck with him, but let us know how he moving, so we can tell people don't fuck with him. You know, like, you need the inside job. You know what I'm saying? Keep
So
that
that
information to
point,
yourself.
if you were to go put up the nets or anything himself, is there any recourse that he needs to be prepared for? If you were to
Not really. I mean, one of our
Just them taking it down. You know, you made the face of the property charge, putting up basketball hoops. Let me sign out, give me my ticket. Shit over with. I'm gonna plead guilty.
Hey, yo, I'm here with Frank and Subi. Hey. Frank and Subi gonna be heading our Panther organization out here in DR. You wanna see what Frank been up to? Frank been working with children for over 30-something years. Huh? Hola. Frank been working with children for over 30 years. Yo, look at this, man. Look at this. Look at this. Yo, children are our future. Hola, señor. Yo, children are our future. I mean, everything we do, our focus is mainly on the children, organizing and working with the children. Look at this, man. This is like a gold mine. This is a gold mine for the future. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, came out to DR, started telling them about the Pantherism, telling them what we do. So now our duty is to provide the resources while we're teaching them what Pantherism is about.
¿Quién sabe qué
What position y'all play? Pitcher? Pitcher. Everybody pitcher? Outfield? Center field, left field, right field? Left field? Pitcher? Second base? Who's the best outfielder?
¿Cuál es el mejor aquí?
¿El mejor?
Sí. They're all the best.
Everybody the best? Everybody the best?
You want to know if like those 1 year or all of
The
it?
whole field.
De todos.
Who's the best pitcher?
¿Cuál es el mejor pitcher de todos?
Him?
Yeah, from them. That's it.
Over there? That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What's his favorite? What's his best
Nah,
pitch? What's his best pitch?
he's the best pitch.
What's his best pitch? What's his best pitch? Fastball, curveball. What's his best pitch? Curveball? You throw curveball? See? What time you play? Yeah. How old are you?
¿Cuántos años tiene? Oh, 16.
16?
Yeah.
16? Ask him if I can get them some clothes out the car.
Oh,
I said they want to get some clothes out the car.
él quiere saber si usted quiere alguna ropa.
That's when they want it.
He said, if you want.
Let's go.
No, man, we go African first. Yo, don't do it. Africa, you do too much, bro.
Anybody want to see it?
¿Quién quiere sostener?
Anybody want to sneakers? Take it. Yeah, take the sneakers. Take it.
Ahora tú ya
Anything. You welcome. Look in here. Look. How we gonna pass it out? Yeah, you pass the clothes out. You pass.
No, I don't pass.
So how I do it? So they just take it. So I did. Yeah, take. Just take. Just grab. Just take. Take something. Look in the bag.
Get your phone.
It's my song.
What's your son?
You play.
Get some from him. Get some. Let me see. Hold it out, Fabi. Mira. Hold it out. Let me see. Yeah. Hold up. You got it? You like it? There we go.
Wait, take you.
You're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Panther.
What position you play?
Like this.
Oh, pitcher. You're the pitcher. You're a pitcher. Your children out here?
No. I'm
No.
just watching.
Oh, you just watching? You just watching too?
Like
My name Afrika. Africa. Yeah, the continent. Yeah, continent. Hold up. Huh? Yeah. I'll come every year. I'll bring more stuff. I'll come. I'll bring everything every year. Yeah, we just started. We're coming with the organization. The organization,
New African Black Panther
Party. So the Black Panther Party. So look, no politician, no rich person will take care of us. The only people that are going to take care of us is us. If we understand that all we need to do is take care of each other, we're going to be good. Yeah, so you notice how all the companies, all the stores is owned by the gringos, Canada, Switzerland. We need to own it. We need to own everything so soon. You need to own stuff so soon. You need to own Baileys. You need to own Roomba. Yeah, we need to own all of that shit. Not nobody else. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But that's why I'm here. Everything we do is free. Everything is free. You don't pay. Yeah, you don't pay for nothing. I mean, this is my guy here. This is my guy, Subi. You know Subi? Yeah, this is my guy. He helped me out down here. I've been with this company for about 7 years, but it's been here since 1969. I'm the leader of the company. I'm the leader now of the organization. Yeah. So we come down. He's gonna be down here working down here in the organization for me. Yeah, he's gonna be here working here.
Also, do you visit Puerto Plata?
Yeah, I work for the plot everywhere. I go everywhere. I stayed in.
I'm from Puerto Plata.
So you want to help me do this in Puerto Plata? I'm about to cut off the camera and I'm about to take your number. We're going to do the same thing. You know, the person that run the baseball, he helping me too.
I live next to a baseball.
Man, what's your name, man? Tell them your name, man.
My name is Brian. I'm teacher of natural science.
Natural science?
Natural science.
Oh my God, I'm hitting a home run everywhere I go, man. Bobby, mira. Good? You good? There we go. Biology? My God.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
Welcome to All Power to the People on Grown Folks Talking Network. I hope everybody doing good, man. It's a happy day. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Yo, we're going to listen to chapter 23 and 24 of the Red Book before we go on with what we're talking about for the rest of the show. I hope everybody having a good Sunday, man. Life be lifing, but we keep on trucking. Yo, the stuff that Ma was talking about in these 2 chapters are really powerful. Most of the time, people think like you could just get up and you could just start doing activism. You just start doing work in the community. If you go outside and you give out food, if you go outside and you get book bags and you give it out to kids, you do you're doing videos telling children to stay out of trouble. Like this is activism. This is revolutionary work. All that stuff is really not. It's not revolutionary. Those are just charitable things that you're doing. And while it seemed nice, it seemed like it's a good thing to do. Those charitable things maintain the society the way it is, because those charitable things that you're doing don't transform people's reality. It doesn't change the material condition. It doesn't change the status quo. It doesn't change how life is or how life is constituted for the masses of the people. So you give one person a book bag for them to go to school. You give 10 people, 100 people. That still doesn't change the fact that they're not getting educated in those schools. So like when we say charity, like you have to understand and know what charity means. Charity is not revolutionary. We don't participate in charity. We give away books. We feed people. We help people with a whole bunch of different things. We have a whole bunch of programs. But all those programs are in place towards a certain vision, to achieve a certain goal, not just to give somebody a meal and that's it. By and large, we're trying to teach them how to fish. We're trying to teach them, instead of just giving them a fish, we're trying to teach them how to fish. And all of that takes time, it takes knowledge, it takes studying. Because you have to understand what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing, what the purpose of what you're doing is. Because once you understand and you believe in it, you're not going to waver. If you know what your purpose is, if you know what your direction is, you're not going to get burnt out. But people often get burnt out trying to help people because there's really no vision. It's just a whole bunch of charitable acts that they're doing. And people can be ungrateful. After a while, you get tired of doing stuff for people that are ungrateful. But if you have a vision and you understand everything you're doing is towards a certain purpose, towards liberation, and that liberation has been constructed out. For people to understand what they're trying to achieve and what their goals are, you don't get burnt out because it's a way of life. And Mao is going to touch on that on here, about being sincerity, about being honest. Like when you listen to popular culture, or you listen to society, listen to academics, listen to them speak about Mao, talk about Mao, if they have the courage to talk about Mao in the Red Book, they make it seem like it's a cultist book, a cult. Like only people in cults, whatever, CULT, they read these books. Most of them never even read the book. They don't know what's in the book. But popular culture, the culture that we're all in, that we're all submerged in, despise people like Mao because they speak counter to what this culture is. Counter to individualism, counter to selfishness, counter to homosexuality, everything. Everything that this society is, that is what the teachings of Mao, the opposite. Everything what the society is the opposite of what the teachings of Mao is. And the dominant society will always strive to silence those voices. They do it till today. I'm about to start it. I'm gonna try not to stop a lot to talk, but there's some heavy things that he's talking about on here that we do need to talk about. So I'm about to start.
Chapter 23. Investigation and Study. Everyone engaged in practical work must investigate conditions at the lower levels. Such investigation is especially necessary for those who know theory but do not know the actual conditions, for otherwise they will not be able to link theory with practice. Although my assertion, no investigation, no right to speak, has been ridiculed as narrow empiricism, to this day I do not regret having made it. Far from regretting it, I still insist that with...
All right, so let me stop it right there. Right there when he's talking about theory. Like, you know, theory, no, let me bring it back. It's important.
Without investigation and study. Everyone engaged in practical work must investigate conditions at the lower levels. Such investigation is especially necessary for those who know theory but do not know the actual conditions, for otherwise they will not be able to link theory with practice. Although my assertion, no investigation, no right to speak, has been ridiculed as narrow empiricism.
So like theory, like you could have the theory all you want in your mind. But like last week's show, we talked about it. I'm going to show the same video I showed last week. Like, you could have that theory all you want, but if you don't put that theory into practice, you never know if it's really going to work. You have to take that theory and put that theory into practice. Those ideas you have to put them into practice and see how that thing turn out. That's how you understand it, whether it work or not. Like I said, we went through it last week. Let me show the video real quick. This is theory. He's going to tell you his theory. His theory is if you put vinegar all on you, this crab right here is not going to bite you. And he's going to put that theory into practice.
If you pour vinegar over your hands or over your arms on any kind of component of your skin, because of the smell and the vapor of the vinegar that it gives off, it is actually a deterrent to the crabs and they won't bite.
You heard him? If you put the vinegar on all over you, it's a deterrent to the crabs and they won't bite. Look at the crab. He got his little claws, everything ready to bite. But he said if you put the vinegar on, his theory is if you put the vinegar on, it won't bite. So let's see if that theory put into practice is true.
Watch.
Hey, Daddy.
Oh, God, this ain't never going to get tired, yo. Oh, my goodness. No, but that's all that stuff where people talking about some, if we want to change the conditions in our community, all you got to do is go to school, get an education. I mean, that's going to solve everything in our community. So how is that theory when you put that theory into practice? People go to school, people been getting degrees, people been graduating, the conditions in our community have gotten worse. So that theory is false. The NAACP supporting these institutions, these organizations, they're going to change the conditions in our community. Their ideas are going to change the conditions. Those theories are false. Nothing in our community has changed. The only thing that changes is their bank accounts, the people that run those institutions. As we're talking now, there's something called Job Corps. I remember Job Corps when I was a kid. When I was a kid, like kids that didn't do well in school, got in trouble in school, they were sent to something called Job Corps. It was supposed to give them training for them to be able to survive in the world, for them to be able to get jobs and be functional in society. The reason why they wasn't doing good in school wasn't because they didn't have a Job Corps. Those schools wasn't really there to teach them how to be human beings. And they were rejecting those spaces. If you go to Job Corps, it is ran by the same individuals that run the schools. Those spaces are not there to teach them how to survive in the real world. They're really not. They're there to just wash money. The people that work there get paid. And the people that go to all those spaces, by and large, nothing good ever really come out of it. Maybe might be one or two, just like in the public school, in all the schools. Like one or two here and there, some people graduate, they make a lot of money. But none of it has anything to do with liberation or freeing our people. All those ideas, when you put them into practice, are useless. When you really look at them. You see, like most of the time, like it ain't like my man right here getting bit by the crab. You don't see it like that because it's subtle. You don't see it. Like 50, 60 years of the electoral process voting for politicians. Because this is what we, by and large, this is what we all believe. This is what you need to do to be able to transform your material conditions, transform your reality, your world. All you got to do is go to school. If everybody went to school, that, everything will be all right. If you do the study from the last 60 years and you add up all the politicians, all the policies, everything that has been created, you see we have a net deficit. Nothing has changed because all these institutions, every single institution that the government has to offer is imperialist institutions, and those institutions are in place to maintain their power over the masses. So no matter where you go, no matter what institution you go to, no matter what job corps, what corps you go to, it's still going to produce the same level of failure. And now, this person that's in office, this politician that's in office, Donald Trump, they're getting rid of the job corps, and everybody's like making a lot of hoopla about it, making a lot of noise about it, because it is really affecting people. It's affecting real human beings. But whether Job Corps stays, whether it goes, it does nothing to change the material condition of people. That's why we have to come up with our own institutions. And we have to put them into practice so people can see whether they fail or whether they work. Let me go back to mine. But that's, we talk about theory. That's talking about theory and putting it into practice.
Far from regretting it, I still insist that without investigation, there cannot possibly be any right to speak. There are many people who, the moment they alight from the official carriage, make a hullabaloo, spout opinions, criticize this, and condemn that. But, in fact, 10 out of 10 of them will meet with failure. For such views or criticisms, which are not based on thorough investigation, are nothing but ignorant twaddle. Countless times our parties suffered at the hands of these imperial envoys, who rushed here, there, and everywhere. Stalin rightly says that theory becomes purposeless if it is not connected with revolutionary practice. And he rightly adds that practice gropes in the dark if its path is not illumined by revolutionary theory. Nobody should be labeled as narrow empiricists, except the practical man who gropes in the dark and lacks perspective and foresight. To take such an attitude is to seek truth from facts. Facts are all the things that exist objectively. Truth means their internal relations, that is, the laws governing them, and to seek means to study.
All right, so the right here is trying to explain the different, like, truth and fact. It is, in America, it's true that we are all free. It's true. Like, every people's outside, they're walking around, they say they're all free. There's no change on them. There's no change on nobody's hands. People are walking, you could go home, you could come out your house, you got keys to go home, you could go wherever you want to go. So, we're free. But factually, are we free? Are we really free? Are we free to determine our future? Do we control the institutions that govern us? Do we control the police? Do we control the politicians? Do we control any decision making? So are we really free if we don't control the decision making? What do I mean by decision making? We all going to have kids, or most of us have kids. You send your kids to school. Do you control what those schools teach them? Yeah, you're free, but do you control what your kids are learning at school? Do you control what's the platforms, the media, the news, what they talk about? Do the people control that? The people control none of that. You have no power. You have no power to control your schools. That's why in our communities they continue to fail us. So are we free? Fact or fiction? Are we free? Fact or true? Yeah, it's true that they say we're free. But actually, if you really look at it, are we really free? You can't even travel to another country if you don't get... Somebody want to say something? Somebody want to say something?
It's clear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You want to say something?
Oh, no. I'm going to go back on mute because you said announce yourself. I'm going to go back on mute.
Oh, nah. But look, while I'm talking, if anybody want to say something, you're welcome. Like, it's conversational. You're welcome to speak if you want. I'm about to go back to the video.
We should perceive actual conditions inside and outside the country, the province, county, or district, and derive from them as our guide to action laws which are inherent in them and not imaginary. That is, we should find the internal relations of the events occurring around us. And in order to do that, we must rely not on subjective imagination, not on momentary enthusiasm, not on lifeless books, but on facts that exist objectively. We must appropriate the material in detail and, guided by the general principles of Marxism-Leninism, draw correct conclusions from it. To behave like a blindfolded man catching sparrows, or a blind man groping for fish, to be crude and careless, to indulge in verbiage, to rest content with a smattering of knowledge. Such is the extremely bad style of work that still exists among many comrades in our party, a style utterly opposed to the fundamental spirit of Marxism-Leninism. Marx, Engels, Lenin, and Stalin have taught us that it is necessary to study conditions conscientiously and to proceed from objective reality and not from subjective wishes. But many of our comrades act in direct violation of this truth. You can't solve a problem? Well, get down and investigate the present facts and its past history. When you have investigated the problem thoroughly, you will know how to solve it. Conclusions invariably come after investigation, and not before. Only a blockhead cudgels his brain on his own, or together with a group, to find a solution or evolve an idea without making any investigation. It must be stressed that this cannot possibly lead to any effective solution or any good idea. Investigation may be likened to the long months of pregnancy in solving a problem to the day of birth. To investigate a problem is, indeed, to solve it. With a Marxist-Leninist attitude, a person applies the theory and method of Marxism-Leninism to the systematic and thorough investigation and study of the environment. He does not work by enthusiasm alone, but, as Stalin says, combines revolutionary sweep with practicalness. The only way to know conditions is to make social investigations, to investigate the conditions of each social class in real life.
All right, so he's talking about investigations. So I'm gonna go back again to the conditions, the stuff we dealing with now. So people will just get up. They're all emotional. They're like, yo, we should start a Black Wall Street because they've heard of Black Wall Street before. We should start a Black Wall Street. We should do this. We should do our own Black Wall Street. But they don't understand what Black Wall Street really was. They didn't do no investigation. They didn't do no studying. All they did was hear it. They heard it somewhere. They heard somebody somewhere talking about Black Wall Street. But if you go in and you do the investigation what Black Wall Street was about, you find out it was basically like now, like rich people buy up the stuff in the community. And back then, because this ain't new, it was rich black people that bought up the industries in the community. And they didn't pay the people enough for them to be able to survive, to take care of their families. They didn't pay them nothing. The people were still suffering. The massive black people were still suffering under black ownership, the black people that owned all those industries in that space. You see, like, now somebody could say, oh, Africa, how you going to say that? Oh, now, everybody can be wrong. You know what Africa going to tell you? I'm going to use Marxism and Leninism. I'm going to use dialectic materialism to tell you, go back and look at the data. They have data. They have records of everybody that lived in that space, what they did, how much they make, all of that. See, when you do investigation, when you go and study, you find out all of these things is readily available. I don't need to just make up stuff and tell you things. There's data. There's people in their own words from back then that lived in that period about the condition that they were going through. Like right now, we're living in this condition now. We're living in what's going on now. See, nobody hear what we're talking about. Our suffering is not put on platforms for people to hear. We are silenced. So you're not going to hear what the mass of the people not going to hear how we feel, what we're going through, our daily lives. They're going to hear from the people that are on platforms that are zoomed out and targeted for them to hear. But if you listen to us, we'll tell you, you can't afford rent out here. You work 2-3 jobs, and you still can't make ends meet. All people do is work from sun up to sun down. There's no freedom out here. the police don't protect and serve. See, that's what the people would tell you if you spoke to the people and you listen to their account. Because, like, let's say 100 years from now, there's going to be people talking about the first black president. Yo, they had the first black president. They're going to be telling people, like, yeah, they came a long way, they fought, and they got the first black president. We can do it again. But then there's going to be somebody that go do the research and see these videos and see the stuff that we're doing, saying that despite all that fake black president stuff, people are still catching hell. 100 years from now, whoever's doing that work, they're going to have to go and do the studying, just like you have to go do the studying about Black Wall Street. Well, most people don't want to study. They don't want to go do the studying. It's too hard. They're lazy. Whatever reason it doesn't matter. Whatever reason why they're not going back to study, it doesn't matter. They're not studying. You have to study. You have to investigate. Without investigations, you're not even supposed to speak. See, like, people think like their opinion, everybody got an opinion, I can say what I don't want to hear your opinion. If it's not scientific, if it has no purpose to it, I don't care. I don't care if you like tomatoes. I don't care if you like apples. I don't care if you like orange. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It does nothing to me. It helps me achieve my goal in no way, no how, no form. So why do I care about your opinions? Keep them to yourselves. Keep it to yourself. But I want to know about the scientific study that you've done. I want to know the stuff that you studied, that you invested time in, that's going to be able to help us, help our people, help change the material condition. Yeah, I'm interested in hearing that. But if you don't have none of that, why are you even talking? You should just be studying. Because without investigation, you have no right to speak. It is what it is. I mean, you can speak to yourself, but I don't want to hear it. You didn't study nothing. You have nothing of value to give me.
For those charged with directing work, the basic method for knowing conditions is to concentrate on a few cities and villages according to a plan and, using the fundamental viewpoint of Marxism, i.e. the method of class analysis, make a number of thorough investigations. A fact-finding meeting need not be large. From 3 to 5 or 7 or 8 people are enough. Ample time must be allowed and an outline for the investigation must be prepared. Furthermore, one must personally ask questions, take notes, and have discussions with those at the meeting. Therefore, one certainly cannot make an investigation, or do it well, without zeal, a determination to direct one's eyes downward, and a thirst for knowledge, and without shedding the ugly mantle of pretentiousness.
Without zeal. You cannot investigate without zeal, without that passion to truly, really want to know what really happened. You can't have an investigation without doing that. And not be biased. You let the evidence tell you, or let the evidence guide you on where you're going. So, like, now how does that impact us? How does that correlate to what we do? So the police grab somebody and they beat them up, they abuse them, they shoot them, this, that, and third. So we want to find out because we care about the community. So we want to speak on it. Yo, we're not going to come on here and speak on it until we go do an investigation to find out what happened. Yo, did bro come outside the house and start shooting at the police and the police had to start shooting back? We need to find out what happened. Did they shoot him while his back was turned, hands up? What happened? Does anybody have a video? How can we, whatever you're saying, how can we investigate that to make sure it's true and we're not just taking your words? And you're sincere. You're sincere, like you're passionate, you're trying to get to the bottom of the story. And then when you get to the bottom of it, whatever you see, or the police did some BS. That's the story you go with. Or they did some BS. Be like, hey man, look, we could help them get out. We could help, like, see if we could raise some funds to help them, to see if we could get a lawyer for them, whatever. And, like, you go a different route. But if the police did some BS, you take a different route. That's what they're talking about. But you do it with zeal. Not we send you over there, you go over there, you just walk over there, you don't see nobody, you get back in your car and you go home. And then you come back to us and you tell us, yeah, I went and did the investigation. No, you didn't. You didn't knock on every door, try to find somebody that lived there to try to get to the bottom of it. Because you're just going through the motions. You're just going through the motions. You know what? I do this right here. This is what I'm going to do. In our organization, we are Black Panthers. You can buy the merch if you want to support the work we do in the community. We do a lot. But we're Black Panthers. So we're setting up a chapter outside of the country. There's another chapter that we have that we're trying to set up. And that duty was delegated to Comrade Gio. I don't know if Gio is here. Hey, Gio, you here? I don't know if Comrade Gio is here.
I don't know if he's here. There's some numbers up there, but I don't know his number. So.
Yeah, Gio, if you could speak, just jump in.
Nah, he here, but I think y'all gotta unmute him. I don't know. He on
Like,
the phone call.
Well, which one is his number? Last 4 digits.
The 88. I think the 8.
Yo, he need a new phone, bro. We could never unmute him, man. He always got issues.
Hello?
Yeah, you finally on, bro. What kind of phone you got, man?
Because you finally learned how to unmute me, Chairman African.
Yo,
I'm here too. I'm muted.
Got who that, Berkeley?
Yes, I'm in the call too. Berkeley's at my house, so we're both here.
All right, say no more. So check this out, right? So we trying to start another chapter, another Black Panther chapter in DR. So Gio was responsible in dealing with the person out there that's supposed to be building the chapter. You got to go through the political education classes. You got to graduate from the classes. You got to put in work. But Gio's been dealing with him for the last couple of weeks. So around last week, there was no contact. Gio couldn't get in contact with him. So I reached out to Gio. Gio said, like, yeah, I hit him up. I'm waiting for him to hit me back. So I'm like, man, I hope he ain't get deported or something. I hope the federales out there ain't grab him. I'm thinking, like my mom, I'm thinking the worst. So since I've been there, I've been to the space where he's at. I know people there. You see, Gio don't know people there. I mean, Gio did the best that he could. He kept contacting him, trying to get in touch with him, but he couldn't get back, talk to him. So I called somebody that was there. I called a few people from out there, and I told them, hey, yo, find this guy and try to find out and see what's going on with him. Like 2-3 days later, they gave me a call from a restaurant. They had the phone. They were talking to him. He said he lost his phone. He's been trying to get another phone. But the reason why I told that whole story was, I mean, you got to do the work. You got to investigate. And Gio went as far as he could with the limited resources that he had. But because I had already been there and we were all part of a team, we were able to use our resources to find him. So now he's still going through the process, trying to take the test so he could start the chapter there. But we understand what's going on. We understand that it's his cell phone and we help him get a cell phone, whatever. But we did the investigation to find out with zeal. We didn't just like, okay, he's done. We just cut him off and move on and just, no, that's not how it works. I mean, and it's like the amount of resources you have, that's what enables you to be able to make a clearer analysis. I mean, and I'm using stuff from our lives, the things that we're going through, but like in 40 years from now, 50 years from now, and 100 years from now, after we've established a chapter and everything that we're doing is in the hands of future leaders, they're not going to understand the work that it really took for that chapter to be running over there. Most of them not, unless we do our due diligence and we write all these things down that we're doing on every day to put these things together. All of that is work. All of that is study. All of that is evidence. That is what we do here. I mean, I don't want to keep going on talking about this forever. I'm going to go back to the video. But without comrades like Gio, this work is almost impossible. That's why we need to get more people in. You bring people in to do this work. Yo, and in fact, I'm going to say this last part. In fact, the people that are called to find him, they want to join the organization now. They want to learn too. So now they're going to be taking the test, studying, so they could join the organization now. But none of that would have happened if we didn't do the work necessary, the work that we needed to do to find out what was going on. So like real talk, Comrade Gio, good work, man. When he get that phone, he's going to get a phone in the next couple of weeks, and he's going to hit you back, and we're going to continue the process, man. But good work. I mean, and I was telling Gio earlier, most people think when you join an organization, when you do this, you got to be out there fighting the police. You got to, 90% of what we do is meetings and talking, trying to get to a point, to decision-making point. where whatever decision we make, we'll make it together, and we'll all work it together to make that reality come true. That's what everything we're doing, that's what it's about.
And becoming a willing pupil. A commander's correct dispositions stem from his correct decisions. His correct decisions stem from his correct judgments, and his correct judgments stem from a thorough and necessary reconnaissance and from pondering on and piecing together the data of various kinds gathered through reconnaissance. He applies all possible and necessary methods of reconnaissance and ponders on the information gathered about the enemy situation, discarding the dross and selecting the essential, eliminating the false and retaining the true, proceeding from the one to the other and from the outside to the inside. Then, he takes the conditions on his own side into account and makes a study of both sides and their interrelations, thereby forming his judgments, making up his mind and working out his plans. Such is the complete process of knowing the situation which a military man goes through before he formulates a strategic plan, a campaign plan, or a battle plan. Chapter 24. Ideological Self-Cultivation. Even if we achieve gigantic successes in our work, there is no reason whatsoever to feel conceited and arrogant. Modesty helps one to go forward, whereas conceit makes one lag behind. This is a truth we must always bear in mind. With victory, certain moods may grow within the party. Arrogance, the airs of a self-styled hero, inertia and unwillingness to make progress, love of pleasure and distaste for continued hard living. With victory, the people will be grateful to us and the bourgeoisie will come forward to flatter us. It has been proved that the enemy cannot conquer us by force of arms. However, the flattery of the bourgeoisie may conquer the weak-willed in our ranks.
You hear that? Yo, they cannot conquer us with arms. You say the bourgeoisie, imperialism, imperialists, they cannot conquer the people with arms. Like if they bring police, like if they bring the military, they got a gun, like they telling you to come out your house to go to work every day, yo, people are not going to go. People going to start to fight back, rebel back. If people see that it is their repression, if they see it as violence, they're going to rebel. And that's what he's saying. See, but if you give it to them nice, like what Malcolm said, like Novocaine. If you give it to them, what was the word he used just now? Let me go back.
It has been proved that the enemy cannot conquer us by force of arms. However, the flattery of the bourgeoisie may conquer the weak-willed in our ranks. There may be some communists who were not conquered by enemies with guns and were worthy of the name of heroes for standing up to these enemies, but who cannot withstand sugar-coated bullets.
Yeah, that sugar-coated bullets. Sugar-coated bullets. Public schools. We're going to give some of you jobs in the government. We're going to make some of you celebrities. Sugar-coated bullets. And how are we doing now? How are the masses of the people doing now? Since the civil rights movement, since they were able to vote, since black people were able to sugar-coated bullets. Since we're given the right by our oppressors, by the imperialists to vote, how have things turned out? Since we were given the public schools, are we smarter? Have we become more smarter? Sugar-coated bullets that kill us silently. And then we come up with terms like from school to prison pipeline. They'll go to the schools. They're reading at a 20-some%, 5%, 6% math. Like this is what is going on in the public schools that's controlled by the government that we don't control, producing failure every single year, every semester, every cycle, producing failure, sugar-coated bullets. See, they can do this with guns. They can't have guns on us telling us like, yo, you got to go to these schools. Yo, we willingly go now. We willingly send our children and think that our children are being educated. While the school is like, while you're not coming home from your 2-3 jobs and teaching your children how to read. Because if the children can't read, it's our fault. It's the parents' fault. The same parent that's paying all the taxes to pay the teachers way more than the parent made. So it's the parent's fault that the kid can't learn, even though that kid is in school for 8 hours, at least 8 hours a day, and you're supposed to be teaching them how to read, how to think, because that's how the society has been constructed, that we have nothing to do with. See, but if they have guns on us, forcing us, nobody would want to go. See, but when they have sugar-coated bullets, black teachers, black professors, Spanish teachers, Spanish professors, gay teachers, straight, all of this stuff that they put in there to try to make it look like we have power. We have no power in the curriculum. None. But you hear nobody speak like this on the platform that the government, that the corporatists, the imperialists provide. Nobody speaks like this. They don't talk like this. They act like all these institutions are working as they should be working. As if they're...
They will be defeated by sugar-coated bullets. We must guard against such a situation. Many things may become baggage, may become encumbrances, if we cling to them blindly and uncritically. Let us take some illustrations. Having made mistakes, you may feel that, come what may, you are saddled with them and so become dispirited. If you have not made mistakes, you may feel that you are free from error and so become conceited. Lack of achievement in work may breed pessimism and depression, while achievement may breed pride and arrogance. A comrade with a short record of struggle may shirk responsibility on this account, while a veteran may become opinionated because of his long record of struggle. Worker and peasant comrades, because of pride in their class origin, may look down upon intellectuals, while intellectuals, because they have a certain amount of knowledge, may look down upon worker and peasant comrades. Any specialized skill may be capitalized on and so may lead to arrogance.
Yeah, but you're listening. He's telling you how all the ways in which we are separated, where we are divided, that we can be separated, can be divided, all the things that we're supposed to look out for. Yo, this is like in 1937, the 40s, the 50s, when he was putting together all these writings right now. We're in 2025. How are you going to tell me all these things are not applicable to now? We're not dealing with all this stuff. The young don't listen to the old. The old look down on the young. The rich, the intellectual, the smart ones. Like I was just talking to Gio and Berkeley. They're both in college. If they're not careful, they're gonna be taught to look down on the people in the communities they come from as ignorant, as nobodies, as people that they shouldn't even have any concern for. It's subtle ways that they teach you this in these institutions, in these colleges. That they tell you to go in there, get your education, like who not to talk to, what not to post on your social media, who not to be. It's taught to you in subtle ways that they make sure you reject where you come from. You do not go back there to help those people. You're separated from those people. That is the reality we're living in. And this is what Mao is telling you in 1930s. Like, this is what imperialism has for you. This is what's coming down the line. This is what they do. This is how they move.
And contempt of others. Even one's age may become ground for conceit. The young, because they are bright and capable, may look down upon the old. And the old, because they are rich in experience, may look down upon the young. All such things become encumbrances or baggage. There is no critical awareness. Some comrades in the army have become arrogant and high-handed in their behavior towards the soldiers, the people, the government, and the party, always blaming the comrades doing local work, but never themselves, always seeing their own achievements, but never their own shortcomings, and always welcoming flattery, but never criticism. The army must endeavor to eradicate these faults. Hard work is like a load placed before us, challenging us to shoulder it. Some loads are light, some heavy. Some people prefer the light to the heavy. They pick the light and shove the heavy onto others. That is not a good attitude. Some comrades are different. They leave ease and comfort to others and take the heavy loads themselves. They are the first to bear hardships, the last to enjoy comforts. They are good comrades. We should all learn from their communist spirit.
You wanted to say something?
I was making sure you Comrade Gio, he laughed because the phone started echoing, but he's right here next to me. I got you. No problem.
There are not a few people who are irresponsible in their work, preferring the light to the heavy, shoving the heavy loads onto others, and choosing the easy ones for themselves. At every turn, they think of themselves before others. When they make some small contribution, they swell with pride and brag about it for fear that others will not know. They feel no warmth towards comrades and the people, but are cold, indifferent, and apathetic. In fact, such people are not communists, or at least cannot be counted as true communists. Those who assert this kind of independence are usually wedded to the doctrine of me first, and are generally wrong on the question of the relationship between the individual and the party. Although in words they profess respect for the party, in practice they put themselves first and the party second. Comrade Liu Shaoqi once said of certain people that they have unusually long arms and are very clever in looking after their own interests, but pay little heed to the interests of others and of the party as a whole. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine too. What are these people after? They are after fame and position, and want to be in the limelight. Whenever they are put in charge of a branch of work, they assert their, quote, independence. With this aim, they draw some people in, push others out, and resort to boasting, flattery, and touting among the comrades, thus importing the vulgar style of the bourgeoisie political parties into the Communist Party. It is their dishonesty that causes them to come to grief. I believe we should do things honestly. Without an honest attitude, it is absolutely impossible to accomplish anything in this world. They, communists, must grasp the principle of subordinating the needs of the part to the needs of the whole. If a proposal appears feasible for a partial situation but not for the situation as a whole, then the part must give way to the whole. Conversely, if the proposal is not feasible for the part but is feasible in the light of the situation as a whole, again, the part must give way to the whole. This is what is meant by considering the situation as a whole. Pleasure-seeking. In the Red Army, there are also quite a few people whose individualism finds expression in pleasure-seeking. They always hope that their unit will march into big cities. They want to go there not to work, but to enjoy themselves. The last thing they want is to work in the red areas where life is hard. We must oppose the tendency towards selfish departmentalism, by which the interests of one's own unit are looked after to the exclusion of those of others. Whoever is indifferent to the difficulties of others refuses to transfer cadres to other units on request, or releases only the inferior ones, using the neighbor's field as an outlet for his overflow, and does not give the slightest consideration to other departments, localities, or people. Such a person is a selfish departmentalist who has entirely lost the spirit of communism. Lack of consideration for the whole and complete indifference to other departments, localities, and people are characteristics of a selfish departmentalist. We must intensify our efforts to educate such persons and to make them understand that selfish departmentalism is a sectarian tendency which will become very dangerous if allowed to develop. Liberalism manifests itself in various ways. To let things slide for the sake...
Hey, yo, this is my favorite part right here. He about to spit some bars right here. He's about to talk about liberalism. We are not liberals. And he's about to explain to you why we're not liberals. If you listen to popular culture, you hear them talking about liberals and conservatives, as if liberals and conservatives are different people. They're both the same people. The Democratic Party, the Republican Party, they're both the same people fighting for their sides of corporation. Because both the Democratic Party and Republican Party are corporate institutions. Most people don't know that. Both the Republican Party is a corporate institution, the Democratic Party is a corporate institution. I mean, both of them are the same. He's about to explain to you why we don't deal with liberals. Because like they always say, those on the left. Yo, like their left is not our left. We are not even, I'm not even left. I'm a Panther. I mean, like, we share nothing in common with liberals. Just like we share nothing in common with conservatives. But for right now, we're not talking about conservatives. We're talking about liberals that we need to push out of our camp. And these are the reasons why that Mao is about to give you why we don't deal with liberals. We don't deal with conservatives either. Because we don't deal with liberals like Obama, Biden, the Clintons, that don't mean we deal with Bush, Trump, Reagan. We don't deal with none of these people. Both corporations are against the people, and we're against them. So, like, he about to tell you why we don't deal with liberals and who liberals are.
Which will become very dangerous if allowed to develop. Liberalism manifests itself in various ways. To let things slide for the sake of peace and friendship when a person has clearly gone wrong, and refrain from principled argument because he is an old acquaintance, a fellow townsman, a schoolmate, a close friend, a loved one, an old colleague or old subordinate, or
Chairman.
lightly.
Yo.
So last week when Susan was here, she was asking questions about what if it was your son, what if it was your daughter. For instance, Biden pardoned his son. That's liberalism.
Yeah.
We don't just because.
Is she here today?
Huh?
Is she here today?
I don't know. If Susan, if you're here, say something. But just because they're family, if they're wrong, they're wrong. If they're wrong in private, in public, you tell them they're wrong in public and in private. Like, you don't do, like, that's liberalism.
All power to the people. No, I'm going to go back on it again because we need to listen to it. We need to understand, especially if you're going to join an organization like ours, if you're going to become a Panther, we don't roll like this. Just because you know somebody, and we're not saying it here, and then like how we really work, we don't even abide by this. Oh, no, we abide by this. We have no secrets. We don't lie. We don't talk about people behind their back. We don't do none of that goofy stuff. I mean, that's why organizations don't last. Let me bring it back.
An old acquaintance, a fellow townsman, a schoolmate, a close friend, a loved one, an old colleague or old subordinate, or to touch on the matter lightly instead of going into it thoroughly, so as to keep on good terms. The result is that both the organization and the individual are harmed.
Yeah, that? Both the organization. If somebody's doing wrong to the organization, and because, not to the organization, to the people, they're doing what is not accepted in our rules. We don't do this. And because the person is a friend, you know them, they're your family, they this, that, you let the thing slide. You're breaking our whole organization apart. You're harming the organization. And you're harming that individual because they're going to continue that behavior thinking it's okay. So we don't deal with liberalism. That's being a liberal. When you don't have a hard line, you see somebody's doing wrong, but because you know them, you letting it slide. You a liberal. You believe in nothing. You hold nothing sacred. You are a liberal.
This is one type of liberalism. To indulge in irresponsible criticism in private instead of actively putting forward one's suggestions to the organization. To say nothing to people to their faces, but to gossip behind their backs, or to say nothing at a meeting, but to gossip afterwards. To show no regard at all for the principles of collective life, but to follow one's own inclination. This is a second type.
Yeah, that's the second type. That's the second type. What do we?
Say nothing at a meeting, but to gossip afterwards. To show no regard at all for the principles of collective life, but to follow one's own inclination. This is a second type.
You don't know those people? Most of the people that are here listening now, you've been in organization, you've been around, you've had meetings, you've been in stuff with other people. Right after they leave the meetings, they go call other people in the meeting and they start gossiping about the stuff in the meeting. Why are you doing that? What are we having a meeting for? What are we talking for if you got secrets and you're going to go talk on the side about it? Talk like what's the point of being here? We agree on something that we're going to do something, and then but like you're not really serious. You don't agree. I mean, but like you keep it to yourself. And then when it's time to do this stuff, like you have issues with it. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's liberal behavior. Those are all things that are like a cancer to an organization that would destroy everything that we're trying to build.
To let things drift if they do not affect one personally. To say as little as possible while knowing perfectly well what is wrong. To be worldly wise and play safe and seek only to avoid blame. This is a third type.
See that? It's another third type. Another type. I mean, you see what's going on. You see we about to run into a ditch. You see what we're doing is wrong, but you don't say nothing. You don't want to be held accountable, so you just let people just do, you let us do whatever, end up getting everything all messed. But you there, you see it. But you're not speaking because you don't want to be accountable. That's liberal behavior.
Not to obey orders, but to give pride of place to one's own opinions, to demand special consideration from the organizations, but to reject its discipline. This is the fourth type.
But then he's saying it, he explaining it in plain words. In plain words. You don't want to do nothing. You get an order, we tell you we got to be somewhere. You don't want to be there. You don't show up. But you think the organization and everybody here should show up when you want them to show up. Should do stuff when you want them to do it. But you have no discipline for the organization. You won't put yourself out for the organization. You won't do what's needed to be done. That's liberal behavior. You're selfish. You only care about yourself.
To indulge in personal attacks, pick quarrels, vent personal spite or seek revenge instead of entering into an argument and struggling against incorrect views for the sake of unity or progress, or getting the work done properly. This is the fifth type.
But so we belong to the organization. We joined the organization. So you come in, somebody come in. I'm just picking something out. Somebody comes in and say we need to center women. Everything here should be ran by women because women are the most disrespected in our community. So somebody in the organization says this is not an identity organization. The things we do here have nothing to do with identity. We work we start from the foundation of the people. All the people are being subjected to oppression, whether you're black, whether you're poor and you're white, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. We do not just center, and just because you are a certain gender, that doesn't mean you get power or you get. Your power goes by what you know, the work that you have done. That's who gets to be in the leadership position. It's not based on whether you have ovaries or not. So the person that came with that said like we should send the women, so they get upset and they leave. There's nothing you could do about that because they don't want to be involved in ideological struggle to understand that we're not centering individuals or identities. We're centering the people. That is how this organization works. I mean, and that's what he's talking about. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to have that back and forth to see who's right. And then like one person don't determine who's right. The entire organization has to vote and determine who is right. And whatever the organization come up with, that's what we do. That's what we accept. That's what it means by belonging to an organization, not just out there freestyling, doing stuff on your own.
To hear incorrect views without...
Chairman, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
The other day, one of the activists in North asked this question. She was like, well, the Black Panthers back then, they used, whenever somebody in the community acted up, they would take them out right away. So I had to explain to her, that's not what we do. We don't just get up and take people out. We're not reactionary. And that harkens back to what Mal said and what you reiterated. You have to investigate. Investigate, no right to speak. We're not just going to jump out and go fight the police or go fight somebody that's terrorizing the neighborhood just because we want to. No, we're very strategic, very analytical, and everything we do is based on science. We don't just move on reaction.
All power to the people.
Without reporting them, but instead to take them calmly as if nothing had happened. This is a sixth type.
Yeah, when you see something happen, I mean, you somewhere, something happen, and you don't say nothing. I mean, that's a sixth type. We're almost done with the types.
To be among the masses and fail to conduct propaganda and agitation, or speak at meetings or conduct investigations and inquiries among them, and instead to be indifferent to them and show no concern for their well-being, forgetting that one is a communist, and behaving as if one were an ordinary non-communist. This is a seventh type.
You go somewhere, something is going on, let's say the police is beating on somebody. Yo, we don't just turn around and walk away. Yo, we interject. You put yourself in the middle of that. You interject to stop the beating. You don't just pull out your phone and record and that's that. Nah. You put yourself in there to make sure you stop it. You act like a communist. You act like you stand with the people. You don't just act like everybody else with their phone out there recording and you do nothing. People getting thrown out their house, illegally thrown out their house. You say something. You say something. You don't be quiet because of the pressure you're going to get.
To see someone harming the interests of the masses and yet not feel indignant, or dissuade or stop it or reason with him, but to allow him to continue. This is an 8th type.
That's what I basically just said just now. Police whooping on somebody and you don't feel like you got to do anything. You just think, yo, everything what we do, there's danger to all of it. There's a danger to this life that you have chosen. I'm not here to tell you, nah, don't do it so you could be safe. No, you're supposed to intervene to help the people. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm not here to tell you, like, when the police pull you over, put your hand on it, you do whatever you got to do to survive. Man, nobody want to hear that. If they pull out their gun and they're about to shoot you, if you got one, you do what you got to do to get back home. You do what you got to do. That's how we coming. You don't just stand there, let the people shoot you, kill you, and then, like, somebody else go get paid. Your mother or your girlfriend or your wife, they go get $1 million, get for the millions for you getting shot in the back of the head. That's not justice.
To work half-heartedly without a definite plan or direction. To work perfunctorily and muddle along. So long as one remains a monk, one goes on tolling the bell. This is a 9th type.
Act like you part of the party. You don't show up to meetings, but you run around like you got your sweatshirt, you got your T-shirt, you telling people you part of the organization. You do it. Man, you probably don't even tell people. You just act like you're part of the organization, but you're not doing nothing. You don't do nothing. You just go on ahead and stuff. I mean, like, yo, you're being a liberal. You're being a liberal. You're jerking wreck.
To regard oneself as having rendered great service to the revolution. To pride oneself on being a veteran. To disdain minor assignments while being quite unequal to major tasks. To be slipshod in work and slack in study. This is a 10th type.
Yeah, to be like, yeah, I'm the longest Panther here. We've been Panthers forever. So like, we the first when I came here. So I'm not going to pick up the kids to take them to the after-school program. I'm not going to wipe their nose. I'm not going to help them tie their sneakers. I'm not going. All that work is beneath me. Yo, you a liberal. You are a liberal. There's no work that's beneath anyone in the organization. If everything we're doing is to liberate our people, there is no work that is too little.
To be aware of one's own mistakes and yet make no attempt to correct them, taking a liberal attitude towards oneself. This is an 11th type.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to correct your mistakes. You don't want to admit you make mistakes, that you're wrong. That is an 11th type. You're a liberal.
Liberalism is extremely harmful in a revolutionary collective. It is a corrosive which eats away unity, undermines cohesion, causes apathy, and creates dissension. It robs the revolutionary ranks of compact organization and strict discipline, prevents policies from being carried through, and alienates the party organizations from the masses which the party leads.
Yeah, that it alienates the people, the party from the people. How you think the people gonna feel when they getting harassed by the police and they know that the Panthers are there to stand with them? They've been thrown out their homes. The Panthers are there to stand with them. They're hungry. The Panthers are there to feed them. Their kids are not being taught how to read. The Panthers are there with after-school programs. How you think the people feel about that? And since we're talking about after-school programs, hey, look, I'm going to interject right here. In a few weeks, we're already in June. In a few weeks, we're starting our summer program, all-day summer program. I mean, we outside all day from I think it's going to be 9, from about 9 to 2 o'clock. I mean, they get breakfast, they get lunch. I mean, why are we having this? Because there are no programs in the city. There are no free programs in the city. You got to pay. Everything we do is for free. I mean, so like most of the people in our community can't afford to send their children. They got 2, 3, 4 kids. They're not sending them away to a program where you got to pay for each of those kids. And they're charging like $200, $150 for a couple of days, for one weekend. Yo, ours is every day the whole summer. So we start in the morning because it teaches them how to work out. It's a workout and it's a basketball camp for the summer. So when we start off, they got to run 20 flights of steps. Then they got to do push-up, pull-ups, sit-ups, dips. I'm talking about kids from kindergarten and up, all the way. It'd be high school kids. It'd be packed. I mean, it'd be packed out. The kids be out there. We've been doing it for about 15 years now, 15, 16, whatever years we've been doing it for. Every summer, this is what we do. I mean, so to give the kids something to do, to keep them, to make sure they don't have idle time. Because the society that we're in, the way it's constructed to create that idle time for them to be able to get in trouble. They're not trying to put all of them in activities, have them doing something because they're going to be out of school for the whole summer. They're not, and the parents got to go to work. This society don't care about none of that. In fact, I saw somebody that posted that people always saying they do what we do. You don't do what we do. Most people, they always say that, yeah, Africa, yo, we love all the stuff we be doing in the community with the kids, with the district. Yo, we do the same. No, you don't. You charge. I clicked on their page. I went down the page. I'm not even going to call no names. I ain't got no time for that. I looked at, you got paid $150. I think for like 3 days for the kids to come by there for them to go do something goofy. Yo, the whole summer we outside working. So, like, if you know about basketball, you know about sports. You know it's repetition. It's repetition, doing the same thing over and over. So every day when they come out, we work out. Then we go over there to do their ball handling. They get 1,000 shots in. They play games. They eat breakfast and lunch. And then we take them all home. Yo, when they go home, they're going straight to sleep. After all that work, because we outside. Everything we do is outside. The push-up, pull-up, sit-ups, this. That alone will break you. But after working out, doing the basketball drills, doing all of that stuff, they go home, go to sleep, and we do it again the next day. If you want to help, if you want to contribute to the stuff that we're doing, yo, get in contact with the General Secretary. I mean, that's in about 3 weeks we're going to be starting that. We still have our after-school program. With our after-school program, we have boxing. It's not basketball. We have boxing with it. Yo, we need gloves. We need shoes. We need all kinds of stuff. I mean, the kids get fed every day at the program. I mean, we need stuff. Everything we do is provided by us, the organization, and the people. There are no corporations funding anything we're doing. We don't have a non-profit. We're not an NGO, because when those people give you money, they control you. But let me finish out the little bit of this video that's left.
It's an extremely bad tendency. People who are liberals look upon the principles of Marxism as abstract dogma. They approve of Marxism, but are not prepared to practice it.
Think about that. The people who are liberals that look at Marxism, they look at us like this is dogma. Like we just, like all this is like working for the community, providing all these things for free. Like, how dare you? What are you talking about? Because they themselves couldn't do it. They themselves couldn't sleep on the floor to provide for other people's children. So they look at it like it can't happen. It can't be done. You got to love the people that much. You can be a liberal. If you're a liberal, you will agree with everything. They'll be like, yeah, hell yeah, we should have our own schools. Hell yeah, we should have our own after-school program. Hell yeah, we should have a summer camp. You got a program where you help people get inside their homes, get homes. Hell yeah, we should have all of that. But they're not willing to invest in none of it because they're liberals. That is what the society has created and made them be. They're liberals. They have no intestinal fortitude. They have no character, no integrity. All they care about is money, materialism, and themselves, whether they want to admit it or not. But I don't have time to play with you. I tell you exactly who you are. I was about to go into another story, but I'll let it go. I was about to talk about Kama Patel, but I'll let her go. I'll let her slide.
Or to practice it in full. They are not prepared to replace their liberalism by Marxism. These people have their Marxism, but they have their liberalism as well.
Yeah, that? They got their Marxism, but they got their liberalism. So they be like, yeah, let's build an Occupy. Let's build a Black Wall Street. The idea of black people all coming together to own stuff. Like, yeah, we should do that. But they got their capitalism side too. Like they use both sides. They don't pick either side. They're in the middle. I mean, so they'll try to talk that good game. Mark Lamont Hill, all these people. They'll work in all these institutions, all these government institutions, but then they'll talk about Palestine as if that gives them credibility to be Uncle Toms, to be sellouts. They all do this. All these managerial sellouts that work in all these institutions, they all do that because they can be Marxists. They can be strict Marxists because then they wouldn't live in those communities they live in. They wouldn't be married to those people they married to. They wouldn't be in the spaces that they're in. They wouldn't be in the class that they're in. They'll be with the people. They don't want to be with the people. They want to rub shoulders and move closer to imperialism, to white supremacy. That's what they want. But they want to act like they're pro-black. They tell you they listen to rap. They start telling you about rap. I said because they listen to hip-hop, that makes them black.
They talk Marxism but practice liberalism. They apply Marxism to others but liberalism to themselves. They keep both kinds of good in stock and find a use for each. This is how the minds of certain people work.
Yo, my boy not spitting. Yo, Mao not spitting. Yo, this is 1937, bro. He telling you what people doing now. Yo, yo, when you read these books, when you listen to these people write, like you could just see it coming off the page. How he not spitting? I mean, he talking about Al Sharpton. He talking about all these people. They talk all this revolutionary talk. They talk all this like Black Wall Street. What is it? Reparations. Because they say the word reparations. They're like all black people. Like reparations. We deserve to get paid. Yes, we deserve to get paid for everything they've done to our ancestors. But you think these imperialists are going to pay you to make you whole? You must be out your mind. Because then you don't understand how imperialism works. You don't understand how this thing works, baby. You haven't done the investigation, which means you have no right to speak. If you believe this government is going to give you reparation, you're an idiot. You've been bamboozled and hoodwinked, led astray, ran amok. Because this government, the one that killed Malcolm, that killed Martin, they're not giving you nothing. What's wrong with you? You know what they're going to give you? Failed schools. They're going to give police to shoot you in the back, and they're going to lock you up in them jails so they can make money like we still in slavery.
But Chairman, like, again, investigate, research. Look what they've done to the Native Americans. The treaties, all the promises. They now, all the things they say they was going to give to them, they have them living in reservations.
Hey, yo.
That's your reparations you're going to get.
Hey, yo, but we could go in real time. Hey, yo, bro, like, what was it, like 3 months ago? No, yeah, it's damn. Yo, Trump been president for 6 months now. Yo, when he came in, he said they had a ceasefire. Hey, yo, they ceasefire over there yet? Did they ceasefire over there yet, bro? They still killing people over there. Yo, they come in, they make treaties, they don't hold on to them. They make deals, they break them before the ink even dry. And if you're still sitting here in 2025 thinking you're going to these people and they're going to give you reparations, yo, there's something mentally wrong with you. Or you haven't done the investigation, you haven't done the research to be able to have an analysis.
The people's state protects the people. Only when the people have such a state can they educate and remold themselves by democratic methods on a countrywide scale.
The people's state. Yo, what we have is imperialism. It's not controlled by the people. This is controlled by the wealthy. And they're running dogs, the people that they have maintaining their system. That's who control this system. This system ain't ours. Until we control our own system, that's when we could control our schools and our children will know how to read. So it's not impossible. It's to teach children how to read. Yo, we make them read when they come to the after-school program. We teach them how to sound words out. If you seriously wanted to do it, you could teach children how to read. But they don't want to teach them. You telling me you got people, teachers that went to college, got all these degrees, they went to school to learn how to teach people how to read, and then they can't teach nobody how to read? Maybe you got too many kids in the classroom. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's what you have the kids reading. Maybe that's part of it. There's a whole bunch of reasons why they're failing in those schools. But it's not because you can't teach our children how to read. Our children can learn how to read real quick. But they're not teaching them because they don't care to teach them. That's not what the purpose of that school is.
With everything taking part and shake off the influence of domestic and foreign reactionaries, which is still very strong, will survive for a long time, and cannot be quickly destroyed. Rid themselves of the bad habits and ideas acquired in the old society, not allow themselves to be led astray by the reactionaries, and continue to advance towards a socialist and communist society. It is not hard for one to do a bit of good. What is hard is to do good all one's life and never do anything bad. To act consistently in the interests of the broad masses, the young people in the revolution, and to engage in arduous struggle for decades on end. That is the hardest thing of all.
I'm going to bring them bars back. Listen to them bars. Listen to Mount spit them bars.
Young people in the revolution.
But I'm bringing back.
What is hard is to do good all one's life, to advance towards a socialist and communist society.
Listen to these bars.
It is not hard for one to do a bit of good.
It's not hard for you to do a bit of good. It's not hard to put a table outside and say you're going to feed people at the train station. That's what he's saying. It's not hard to do a bit of good. Listen to what he say is hard. Jesus Christ. I got it. I'm going to bring the beat back. That's my first time doing that today.
And ideas acquired in the old societies, which is still very strong, will survive for a long time, and cannot be quickly destroyed. Rid themselves of the bad habits and ideas acquired in the old society, and not allow themselves to be led astray by the reactionaries, and continue to advance towards a socialist and communist society. It is not hard for one to do a bit of good. What is hard is to do good all one's life.
What's hard is to do good all one's life. So that means today's Sunday, you do good today. Tomorrow's Monday, you do good tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's a way of life. Remember I told you, I said earlier, people get burnt out because there's no vision. They just do charitable work. And after a while, you're going to get burnt out because there's no reward for that. But people are really not that thankful. Not as thankful as you would desire. I mean, so you're going to get burnt out. But if it's a way of life, if this is who you are, and you understand it's a vision to everything you're doing, you're not going to get burnt out. So it's easy to be good every day. Every day, every morning, I start my day by picking them kids up from our program to go to school. They come in the car, they tired. You know how kids be coming, they be going to school. That's how we used to start. They come to the car. When they get in the car, the conversations we have, what we talk about. Like by the time they leave that car, they're smiling, they're happy, they're running off to school. Pick them up after school. Go to the after-school program. Do their homework, do the boxing, feed them, take them home. You can't do that every day. The government don't pay you. Government don't pay me, don't pay us. But we there every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Say sometimes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're 24/7. We're doing this work. That's what make you good. And it can be done. You just have to have the vision and understand what you're doing. You don't have to be at the gym. Are you helping with the food? Did you cook the food? Did you pick up the kids? What did you do to add on to what we're doing? That's what makes you good. And you can be good every day of your life. And you don't waver. You don't switch up. You don't change up. You stand by the side of the people.
And never do anything bad. To act consistently in the interests of the broad masses, the young people in the revolution.
The young people in the revolution, those kids that we pick up that are in our program, those are young Panther cubs. We're teaching them how to be future Panthers. From kindergarten all the way up. Listen to what he said about the young. See, like everything we doing, we don't just do it just because we woke up one day. We listen to people like this. This is why we doing it. Listen to what he said. Listen to what he said. We almost done.
It's not hard for one to do a bit of good. What is hard is to do good all one's life and never do anything bad. To act consistently in the interests of the broad masses, the young people in the revolution.
The young people in the revolution, those are our Panther cubs. That's our most pride institutions that we put in the community. Working with our Panther cubs.
And to engage in arduous struggle for decades on end.
Decades on end. We started in 2008 we started. We got a decade in. Everything that I'm telling you we've been doing since 2008. Ain't no stopping. Because 2008, my daughter was like 5, 4, whatever she was. My son was like 7, 8, whatever he was. Now we're in 2025. My son, they're both about to graduate from college. My son is working in the school teaching. My daughter's in the, at the after-school program. She feeds them. She runs the after-school. She's the captain of the organization. Every day. We've been doing this every single day since 2008. Yo, there's no quitting. We're passing the baton on. You heard Gio, you heard Berkeley. These were children that we met when they were still in middle school and high school. Now they're about to graduate college. The mantle is going to be handed off towards them. So every day of your life, you can do good. You can. If you have the vision, if you're disciplined, if you're sincere in what you want to do.
That is the hardest thing of all.
Yes, it is the hardest thing of all. To do this every year, every day, to continue, every week, every month. That's hard, but it can be done. And once it's a way of life, when we wake up, this is what we do. This is our life. I don't have a miserable life. I love my life. I love my family. I think I'm the most luckiest person around, but I'm not rich. It's because everything else that I'm involved in. Let's go ahead. Everything we just talked about, let's try to bring it into present time. And who's Steven? Steven got something to say? Anybody, if you got something to say, you can always just chime in. But we about to go ahead. Let's talk about these people. This is the Manhattan Institute. The Manhattan Institute is a community of scholars, journalists, activists, and civic leaders dedicated to advancing opportunity, individual liberty, and the rule of law in America and its great cities. Did you hear what the Manhattan Institute is? Where is it at? Contact 52 Vanderbilt Avenue, New York, da 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 da, ba 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 ba. But Manhattan Institute, listen to it again. Don't it sound like it's something good? It's a nice place. Like they're doing good things. We're going to try it again. The Manhattan Institute is a community of scholars. Scholars, remember the managerial people. Scholars, journalists, activists. Well, I guess you could be an activist if you could activist for anything that you want to. And civic leaders, politicians, dedicated to advancing opportunity, individual liberty. These people are going to advance our opportunity. You know, the material condition, the way our lives are going, they're supposed to advance opportunity, individual liberty, the rule of law in America and its great city. So this corporation, this institute, that's what they're supposed to be doing. We work, Stephen, you got to mute yourself, Steve. We work to improve the quality of life in our urban centers. These people don't live in our urban centers, but they say they work to improve our quality of life in our urban centers with a particular focus on the problem of urban violence and the need for public sector reform. Public sector reform. So you're going to reform the government, a government that we know cannot be reformed. This is what the Manhattan Institute is saying that they're doing here. I'm just catching all the lies already, all the contradictions. We offer constructive alternatives. Remember, these people don't live in our communities. All these people don't give a damn about our communities. We offer constructive alternatives to identity politics to help overcome our nation's ethnic and cultural divide. So when they say that, we offer constructive alternatives to our identity. So now they must be on the Republican side. I mean, because like Democrats don't talk about identity politics. So they may be on the conservative side. I mean, because they all have their own different lingo. Alternatives to identity politics to help overcome our nation's ethnic and cultural divide. Because that's what's going to change our cultural divide and stuff, is identity politics and stuff. That's what the problem is. It's not imperialism. We champion educational excellence and educational choice for all families. When you start hearing choice, that's conservative, Republican talk. We believe that expanding economic freedom is essential to achieving widespread prosperity and upward mobility. We believe that expanding economic freedom, we have no economics. We have no money. What economic freedom are you giving us? They're just talking to be talking. The Institute is a public policy think tank, the publisher of City Journal, and a network of emerging leaders. So they have their own platforms, everything that they put out. These people got money. The Manhattan Institute. You should look more into them, do more investigation. But we're talking about them, and we're talking about, they're still not finished. Our think tank is home to leading experts across a range of policy areas, including policing. They do policing and public safety, housing, education, everything that's failing us in our community, law and economics, to name just a few. drawing on range of experience and skills. Our fellows craft policy solutions. They craft the policy solutions to many of the most urgent challenges facing our cities and our country. Not us. This is a corporate. This is a corporation, whatever. This ain't the people right here. But they crafted. They're telling you. They crafted. And if you look up the Manhattan Institute, you see that they really do that. City Journal is the nation's leading urban policy magazine. See, it's a platform for them to get their information out, to brainwash the people. City Journal is the nation's leading urban policy magazine, argument-based, urban, and influential. City Journal holds itself to the highest standards of clarity and readability for discerning readers, and its original journalism puts a human face on public policy concerns. Like, this is what they're saying that they're doing. They make it real easy for us to understand, and they put a face on the public policy without, the policy concerns and stuff that we dealing with, you would never hear it on these platforms. They tell you what they want you to hear, what the imperialists that's funding this magazine want you to hear. That's what you get from their platform. It is nothing from the people. The Adam Smith Society is the heart of, I guess what you call it, Manhattan Institute's next generation efforts, with chapters on top MBA campuses and a robust national network of rising business leaders. The Black Panther Party wouldn't be allowed to have people in all these universities. They would call the Black Panther Party a terrorist organization and would try to remove them. But this corporation, this company ran by oligarchs, is in all the universities, because those universities are socialization spaces where they socialize our children to turn against us. The Smith Society connects its members with business, policy, and thought leaders to explore today's pressing challenges in civil society's role in addressing them. Thought leaders, they're not coming to us to get any thoughts from us. Thought leaders are like rich people like them that are putting out ideas that they want us to partake in. Together we seek to enrich and influence public discourse, provide policy expertise at every level of government, and develop civic business and intellectual leaders who can help realize promise and potential of American life. BS. My BS meter is running high. Even though I know who these people are, I'm more familiar with them. But just from reading this, you could just know it's BS. But they fired somebody. They fired some dude that they gave sugary bullets. They gave him sugary bullets for him to be the face of their ideas and to push their propaganda. You're going to hear him tell you in his own words. But this is who he is, Glenn C. Lowry. See, these people are supposed to be the smart people, the educated people. Bro worked at Brown University, Ivy League University. All these people are supposed to be the one. Look, he got the Manhattan sign in the background and everything. Hey, good job, General Secretary Patience, for getting this picture right here. Glenn C. Lowry was a Polson fellow at I don't know who Polson is. A fellow at, and I'm not looking it up. It's just some uppity shit. Anyway, fellow at the Manhattan Institute, and is the Merton P. Stokes Professor of Economics at Brown University. Whatever. I don't know if he's still at Brown, but be that as it may. Lowry's work focuses on affirmative action, because he disagrees with affirmative action. The black family and black patriotism, black patriotism to an American government. That's what he focuses his work on. As an economic theorist, he's an economic theorist. That's what he is. Remember we talked about theory? Right here. He's an economic theorist that I guarantee you has never put none of his economic theories into practice. Lowry has published widely and lectured throughout the world on his research. Garbage research about nothing. He just get money and get paid by exploiting our suffering. He is also among America's leading critics writing on racial inequality. He's not writing for us. He's writing for people like the Manhattan Institute. He's writing for those oligarchs. That's who he's writing for. He has been elected as a distinguished fellow of the American Economics Association, a member of the American Philosophical Society and of the U.S. Council on Foreign Relations, and a fellow of the Econometric Society and of the American Academy of Arts and Science. Lowry holds a BA in mathematics from Northwestern and a PhD in economics from MIT. He is author of the new memoir, Late Admissions, Confessions of a Black Conservative. See? Bada boom, bada bing. He's a black conservative. What that mean? A house Negro. Available now. So let's go to the debate that he had with these people. So like let's listen to Glenn Lowry, because obviously he's a bootlicking Uncle Tom that was working with these people. They were paying them well, and then they got rid of him. Let's see why they got rid of him. Why they stopped messing with him.
The Manhattan Institute is a well-funded and very active, right and center, urban-focused, domestic policy intensive think tank.
Now you heard what he just said. They are right of center, well funded by oligarchs. I mean, and where's their concern at? Their concern is in the urban communities, in our poor communities, in passing laws and making policies. How are the laws and policies in our communities? Who do those laws and policies serve? But he was working for them. So let's bring the beat back again.
The Manhattan Institute is a well-funded and very active, right and center, urban-focused, domestic policy intensive think tank.
I got to stop that again. Right of center. When he say he's right of center, because you got their fake left, those are the Democrats. Their identity politics, everything just lie. They just lie to be lying because they're just like the conservatives. So he's saying he's not on their side. He is right. The Manhattan Institute is right of center. So they're not even at the center. They're on the right. Like he all the way on the right. So now let's continue.
In New York City, they publish a journal called City Journal. They have writers who contributed to City Journal, like people like Heather McDonald and Christopher Rufo and many others. And they are players in the policy world, in talking about housing, talking about education, talking about crime, policing, and whatnot. Writers.
These are the people why we still at the bottom. These are the people why we still suffering. You see, most people don't even know we slaves because of people like this. On the Democratic side, on the Republican side, this is the managerial class. The house Negroes that Malcolm was talking about, this is them right here. They go to school, they get all that education, and they use that education to help our oppressors keep the boot on our neck, pass policies, do all these things in our communities that we suffering from. This is him right here. And after we do this video, we're going to tag him in it. We're not afraid for him to see, but he don't care because he don't live in our communities. I guarantee you, I don't know where he live at, but he ain't living in our community. Just keep listening to him talk. You're going to see he don't live in our communities. But these people should be shunned. We're not going to defeat imperialism, white supremacy, until we deal with these people right there, until we deal with these traitors. He's telling you the people that he's working from, right of center. Why are you even working with anybody right of center? Why are you working with them?
Center, anti-DEI would be one of the themes, but there are many. They're smart, they're nimble, and they used to be my home. You know, I had thought stepping down from Brown, going to emeritus status, I was going to kind of refocus.
You heard them? They used to be my home. They used to be my home. Right of center. These are the people that used to be his home. These are the people that used to be his home. Sugar-coated bullets. I want him to tell you the sugar-coated bullets that they gave him for him to go over there.
My institutional footprint in the policy world at the Manhattan Institute. And
see, instead of building our own institutions, they give their brain and everything, their bodies, to these institutions that are in our community, to steal from our community, to rob our community, to make our people homeless. People who talk all day about how much they hate pedophiles, but don't have no energy for them. These people are worse than pedophiles. It is what it is. These people are worse than a rapist. These people destroy generations of our people, destroy minds, and they get paid well to do it. If you hate a rapist, if you hate pedophiles, How you don't have no hate for them? How you don't hate them with the same contempt? These are the people that's working with those that are administering our suffering in our communities. And they just sit up here and they laugh about it like it's funny. Because they know most people don't investigate or know what the Manhattan Institute is, to understand what they even do, what policies that they... So he could just come up here and just smile and laugh. Old boot-licking Uncle Tom. Look at him. He just looked like one. Look at him.
I had thought that I had cultivated relationships with people, including the staff there, the president, Raihan Salam.
I hate listening to him talk. But he thought he was good inside Master House. He thought he had cultivated relationships. Remember, moving to proximity closer to white supremacy. That's all he wanted. Like, he thought he had cultivated friendship there. You freaking imbecile. Let's go on. I don't even want to hear him. I ain't want to hear that no more.
And I had made appearances at, Tony dinners at the Harvard Club in New York City.
Hear that? Yeah, that. Look. See the face she giving him? She giving him the side eye. Yeah. I did this. The first black this. The first black. Listen where he went. He went to the dinners at the Harvard Society. Listen.
And I had made appearances at, Tony dinners at the Harvard Club.
The Harvard Club.
With the board of trustees, who are an estimable group of financiers and philanthropists and well-heeled.
See, you rubbing shoulders with all them rich people. He think he done made it. That's his home now. He's with the rich people. Damn them Negroes in the projects talking all this affirmative action. Affirmative action. What? Police brutality. What? I'm rubbing elbow with all these financiers. All these rich white folks. All these rich Jewish white folks.
And, my persona was...
This is what he's about to tell you. For rubbing all them shoulders, for him giving him all that money, what he had to do? Let's go back. Let's do what he had to do.
I'm a conservative bad boy prepared to call the woke folk to account, like you.
Yeah.
Was black conservative bad boy.
I want to say that persona again.
Was black conservative persona.
My persona.
Was black conservative bad boy prepared to call the woke folk to account, like you, Brianna. He's against affirmative action and reparations.
He's against affirmative actions and reparations. He's against that. You see, she's for that stuff because she's supposed to be on the liberal side. Remember, I told you they're both the same. They both know it's all a joke. See how they're laughing with each other? It's a game. If you're fighting for reparations, if you're fighting for affirmative action, you know, like, these people are not trying to give it to you. Why would you be smiling with somebody that's on the other side fighting against you? If you're really sincere and you're fighting for this stuff every day of your life, this is your life work. What are you smiling for? I'm not smiling with nobody that's on the other side fighting against me, but it's all a game to them. It's all a game to them. They're fighting for stuff they know will never happen. So they could just sit there and smile with each other. I couldn't sit there and smile with this fat face. I almost say something.
And realizing that George Floyd was probably not a person around whom you want to build an epic narrative of African American striving and, many other things that you and I will disagree about.
Yeah, that. So that was him. He was over there for the right wing, for the racist people, the racist reactionaries, and he was there for them. They provided him with a platform. They paid him. You see, like, we don't get paid. He's going to tell you, he's going to explain. But they provided a platform and they disseminated his information out. They provided all of that for him to do what? For him to say he's against affirmative action, people being paid, or people being, people giving jobs because their ancestors were exploited, so they're allowed into these corporations. You see, I'm against that because I know none of that stuff is going to solve our condition, allowing a few people into these industries, whatever. You see, like, I'm against it for that. But he against it for a different reason. Like, he's saying, like that ain't how you do it. You shouldn't give these people no access to nothing. See, like, he on a whole different wave. He's against George Floyd. People standing up and protesting for George Floyd because he's not the person, because George Floyd got high. So he's not worthy of being used. I mean, to demand, liberation for our people. That's the side he on. That's why they paid him. This dude is a slime ball of the highest caliber. Your whole life, look at him. He's been eating off that white money, all that Zionist money, that white supremacy money. to feed our people garbage, to miseducate our people. That's what he's been doing his whole life. Sugary bullets, remember?
Well, I'm sure. But I was that guy, you know.
This is the people that Mao warned us against in our organization. People that should be that say they're speaking for us, or these are the people he's talking about.
I was going to be that voice. I was the voice that, you know, called out looting is okay, BS back in 2020. Again, you and I are not going to.
Back in 2020, you talking about looting. So like, if something happened, the police shoot somebody, and the people go crazy and start reacting like reactionaries, and they start burning stuff down, start looting the stores. He said I was the guy that said that was wrong. That they shouldn't be looting the stores. These are their stores. Those stores don't belong to the people in the community. Once again, I'm gonna say it again. As Panthers, we don't support reactionary behavior. The looting, doing all that stuff, burning down stuff. Those are reactionary behavior. We believe in organizing. We believe in building institutions in our community to serve the people. Excuse me. We don't believe in going to burn stuff down and going to go loot the stores, not because we feel sorry for the people, because we understand those stores are not ours in the first place. In fact, those store owners are the ones that fund the politicians in our local communities to continue to do the oppressing. They're the ones that fund them for them to be selling. General Secretary's patient said like 2 weeks ago, she went to buy soap. It was like, hey, General Secretary, you there?
Yeah.
You went to buy soap 1 week. How much was the soap?
It was Tide soap, laundry detergent, $24.99, and then 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago it's $24.99. Last week it was $40 now.
$40. $40. That's crazy.
About all these things. And I was going to sort of plant my flag with the Manhattan Institute, which you asked me to describe, and I think I've done an adequate job of doing so.
That is where he planted his flag at. The Manhattan Institute. These people, right of center, the ones that are influencing the policies in our communities to destroy our communities. That's where he planted his flag at. He's a traitor to our people. But he's allowed to flourish in public culture because that's how the system is created. These are the people that are successful, that are given these platforms, that are able to speak. We are silenced. That's why you're supposed to share this stuff we're doing. That's why you're supposed to come here. Start your own show. You're supposed to support the stuff we're doing here. Nowhere else would you hear anybody talking like this, telling the truth. Because you can't. That's why this whole space, Grown Folk Talking Network, that's why it's so important. Where else? There's nowhere else you're going to look. You go to WBAI. WBAI is trash now. It's watered down garbage. It's another liberal space. Like I suffer to listen to the crap on WBAI, on all these places that they're supposed to be left. None of them are left. They're all frauds, all corporations trying to make money off the suffering of the masses. That's the only reasons why they're there.
It's going to be a player in the right of center policy world, not from a university, but from a think tank. And MI was going to be my home.
It's going to be my home.
Until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't. Like, you remind me of the dude from the Django at the end when it was burning down. Bro, Django told him, nah, stay there. Stay right there. Stay in that fire. This is where you want to be at. Word up. That's what he remind me of. He remind me of Steven. I think that's his name.
The separation of my relationship with the Manhattan Institute unfolded over months and terminated earlier this year when they decided that they didn't want to renew our relationship with me as a distinguished senior fellow who's being compensated and being invited to undertake initiatives in the context of the Manhattan Institute. They decided they didn't want to continue to do that. But that had an earlier episode where they elected not to continue to sponsor the Blend Show, my podcast, which they had been.
Bada boom. They were sponsoring his podcast. Now listen to what they were doing for him.
Lavishly and generously, and for which I was very grateful, helping me to support a team, that I relied on to produce the podcast. A very excellent producer and a very excellent editor and writer, and And, I'm still working with my team, but I'm doing so on a thinner margin, a much thinner margin than I had been doing when I had MI support. So, yeah, that happened, but it didn't happen yesterday. It's just that I decided I wasn't going to, make a big deal out of it. But then after a while, I thought, well, probably I should explain to my followers why they no longer see me presenting the show as sponsored by the Manhattan Institute, and maybe I should appeal to my supporters that, independent voice, if you really appreciate the role that I'm trying to.
How are you an independent voice? These people are supposed to be academics, doctor of this, doctor of that. You're not an independent voice if you're working for a think tank. You working for these people, and they're allowing you to speak. They're funding you to speak. They're paying you. And if you say something contrary to what they believe, they'll get rid of you. You know that. I don't know what caused him to say something about Palestine or to go off talking about Palestine for him to come off, but he know what it is. But now he wants to appeal to people, to the average person, to send his fat head money for him to tell us how all this stuff, reparations and all this stuff is not good, how George Floyd, we shouldn't be fighting for people like George Floyd. We should pay your fat head to do that, right? Sit there and wait.
Play in American public life, then, I need your support now more than ever. And so
I need your support. How you, man, I swear to God, bro. Let me play the next one.
Wait, Chairman.
Yeah.
They were paying him to do a podcast. Ain't nobody paying us to do no podcast. Why he need a team? Captain Patience, just talking to your phone. You don't need money if you really about the people. Just do your own thing. But no, he's not about the people. Now he needs the people to support him. The message that hurts the people. Go ahead, man.
Yo, and out of nowhere, wait, is this done? Is this one done? Did I just play this? Let me see.
I'm not going to let these people, defenders of Israel, tell me that I can't have that feeling.
So now he's going to tell the Manhattan Institute, the defenders of Israel, the Zionists, the defenders of Zionism, of white supremacy, all of this. When they come to Palestine, now you want to speak up, and you're not going to let them tell you how to speak. But they've been paying you. They've been funding your program, and you've been going after George Floyd. You're going after what? Reparations. They shouldn't pay black people for the crimes they commit against black people. This is everything that you've been standing and fighting against. But now when it comes to Palestine, now you see the light. And when they fire you, you want the people to come and save you, to come give you money, even though he don't live in our communities.
That I can't see with sympathy the consequences of the domination of these people. I'm talking about the Palestinians in Gaza and in the West Bank. You use the settler colonialism analogy, and that's trivial, woke postmodernism. Well, it may or may not apply in every detail to the historical facts of Palestine and Israel, but it's definitely not irrelevant. You say apartheid. This is not apartheid. This is the administration of a necessary occupation where this, et cetera, et cetera. And I say, okay, Jimmy Carter. I got that from Jimmy Carter. I got that from Best Film. I got that from the Criminal Sport. I mean, but if you say don't use it, I won't use it. But it does have apartheid-like features, doesn't it?
Yeah. They telling him don't use it. But it does have apartheid-like features, doesn't it? But this is what Ma was talking about. These are the kind of people that we cannot allow to be in anything we're doing. You see, when Ma wrote it, he was like, we have to combat liberalism. These people, it's not really combating liberalism. These people are frauds. They know exactly what they're doing. They're selling their soul for those sugary bullets. And until we deal with these people, until we are able to cast these people out and shun them from our community, because if the Manhattan Institute understood, we're not listening to him, nobody cares about this guy right here, they're not giving them nothing. Your degrees don't mean nothing to us. He don't mean nothing to us because he shouldn't. He's a traitor to our people. Like I said, I'm going to tag him in it for him to understand. But we read the red book. We read the red book, and we study all our revolutionaries from George Jackson, what's his name, Fanon. We read all these people to understand the circumstances that we're in, the hell that we catch it, and who's the culprit, who we should be fighting against, how to mount that fight. These people right here, we must deal with if we want to get anywhere. This managerial Uncle Toms. They're Democrats, they're Republicans. They work in these universities, they work in these schools, they work in these hospitals, they work in all these managerial jobs to oppress our people. And they act like we're so stupid that we don't see it. I see you for who you are, Glenn. But yeah, yo, that's our show for today, yo.